You identified that the pornographic materials in question were not family-friendly, since you instructed them not to be read in public comment. By the same logic, these materials should not be in the library.
As you know, the so-called far left, also known as communism, has been explicitly after our children and our society. They give you just a few of their goals from the 1950s. Goal 25, break down the cultural standards of morality by promoting pornography in books, magazines, motion pictures, and TV.
The Miller test has been mentioned several times. The Miller test is designed to be used to evaluate whether something is obscene for adults. It does not evaluate whether it is obscene for minors. And this is a very important distinction.
Goal 17, get control of the schools, use them as transmission belts for socialism and current communist, propaganda. Soften the curriculum, get control of the teachers' associations, put the current political ideas and policies in the children's textbooks.
I'm deeply concerned about procedures that are in place, specifically Procedure 3122. If a student is to be released for health care related to family planning or abortion, the student may require that the district keep the information confidential. Parents have the authority to know where their children are. The school has no right to conceal this from them.
It has come to my attention that there are males who use female restrooms and locker rooms in the Battleground School District. I have confirmation of at least 4 different instances where this occurred. You are communicating that a male child's desire to assert his gender identity is more important and takes precedence over a female's physical safety in her own bathroom.
There are a lot of issues, as you know. Some people have voiced their concerns on parental notification, Title IX, bathroom policies. Sex ed hasn't even been brought up, but that's a concern. And so my goal today is to just give you a reminder, lovingly, about the moral obligations that we all have before God on these things, that those who are given a charge need to protect those who are under their charge and defy moral orders. This principle is seen throughout history. It was seen in the Nuremberg trials, the prosecution of the My Lai massacre. The defense was given that I was just following orders, and it's been soundly rejected over and over again. Anyone who has power has a duty to protect these individuals, not to become conduits for the evil orders that come down, whether that be from the state level or the federal level.
You heard the concerns of many parents and fathers and people in this community that this has been gone long enough. Children are the epitome of innocence, that the children are our future, that we should instruct them in the ways that they ought to go, lead them for future generations. But we see now our children being attacked from every angle. We see this being propagated in our governments, in our schools. We see this on social media. We see it everywhere. Our children are being manipulated. They're being prostituted out to ideologies and philosophy of secular humanism.
And we have our latest example, which is the Title IX redefinition by the Biden administration. It's perverting a law that's designed to protect the sanctity of women and girls into one that victimizes them in their privacy, as well as their safety, physical safety, by forcing them to compete against biological boys. In this case, we have ample precedents to prove that we should push back. 26 states and a private organization have filed suit on this and have an injunction against this enforcement. And so my question is, why not us?
I found it noteworthy that the board had a brief but heated debate where it was established that they could not agree on a definition for pornography. And yet, when Madam President put forth the addition to the rules for the citizens' comments that they were to be family-friendly, not one member of the board objected. How is that possible? Romans 2:15 is how that is possible. Your conscience bears witness as to what is good and what is evil, with your thoughts alternately accusing or else defending you.
On top of this blatant hypocrisy from your own mouths, you purposely disregard the objective moral standard. You do not see fit to acknowledge God, and so God has given you over to an unfit mind. You know the righteous requirement of God, and that this material is immoral and evil. Yet you give approval to those who wish to indulge their minds in its content. You shrink back from declaring the truth you know because of cowardice, and instead perform an idiotic series of mental gymnastics in order to justify your own action. Therefore, you are without excuse, both as individuals and as the leaders of this school district.
Knowing this, listen to your conscience. Listen to the Spirit is pressing you that you need to confess your sins, because we're all guilty on that day of judgment, and God will bring every thought into account, every word, every deed. And the time is now. Today is the day of salvation, and Christ is that mediator. He is that King of Kings.
I suggest you take a look behind me at the people gathered today for this meeting, and realize that these are the people who voted to give you the seat of authority you now possess. You are not free to do what you wish. Your actions in this council are bound by the vote of the people, and will determine our support of you on this council in the future.
We as citizens of this school district have some concerns that this board is not standing as firmly as it ought to with respect to the immorality being handed down even from state and federal levels. And as we've noted before, and as we all know, the Nuremberg trials were a really big eye-opener for all of us, that when the dust settles, God's standards of right and wrong always come to light, and they always triumph. And our prayer and our hope is that you will have the integrity to exercise your delegated authority according to the God who delegated it to you.